since we talking about 5%ers and we got Brother Hugh in the building, I know, no, but you coming from a Muslim understanding, which is almost the same sort of understanding, because Clarence X, 13X, was a follower of Elijah Muhammad, right? And I don't know which branch of Islam you were coming from.
Sunni Islam.
From Sunni Islam,
I
okay.
respect the Nation of Islam, but there's fundamental differences between Sunni Islam.
Okay, so Brother Hugh, can you explain to us what made you, what was the factor that made you transition from Islam into this way of life, into accepting Torah, and walk in this path?
I want to, before I start with Islam, I want to go back to the Christianity aspect of it.
Okay, that's good. We could
And
go.
so my, similar to the majority of people who've come over here, who've have ancestors who go to slavery, their descendants were birthed into, the majority of us were birthed into Christianity. And so my mother had a philosophy that a family that prays together stays together. And so we pray 5 hours a day, every day. And that was from our childhood. So all of the precepts.
You said 5 hours a day?
5 hours a day. From the moment we got home from school, we got whoopings behind this. And matter of fact, we'll get my mother could confirm this, and my siblings can confirm it. This was a practice that our family practiced, with her coming from out of Mississippi. They had a strict, my parents divorced when I was 2, so to keep all of her kids in-house and close to her, and I was the baby, so we just prayed all day and just playing with shoes when she'd fall asleep, and then we get up, and if we're not still reciting, we get hit with the cord. This was our existence early on. So the precepts of the Torah, and bless her heart, I'm looking back on it now, she's really focused in Psalms and Proverbs. That was, that's what she had us reciting. So being born into Christianity, I knew early on, I had questions that didn't make sense to me. I was precocious as a kid, and so my mom would, I would ask questions. Mom, why did God love these Jews more than they love me? Why should I want to pray to him? I got a whooping for that. I literally got a whooping for that question, because she told me to ask Jesus when I get to heaven. And so that is, I was brought up in Christianity. About 1998 is when I was in the church, and we had at that time, a really good church, a big church. The pastor called me up to the front of the church, and she said to me that God told her, because I have been diligently seeking him, our relationship is gonna take off like never before in the year 2000. When the year 2000, I went to the University of Minnesota. That's when I denounced Christianity altogether. And my life, she was correct. My life did take off like never before. I denounced Christianity, and then I embraced Sunni Islam, particularly because it made more sense fundamentally to me, that how can God be three yet one? And I've always had an aversion for Christianity when even when I was in it, because it just fundamentally just did not make sense, and to believe in a belief that I, as a historian, I got my BA in history from the University of Minnesota, also went to the University of Minnesota, grad school, curriculum instruction. So to believe in a belief that I historically observed break the backs of black men and make them docile individuals, I just could not, I always had an aversion for it. So I believe it was my experience that Christianity in its fundamental form, it subconsciously tricks the black male into believing that no matter, it literally says no matter what you do, since you believe, you get to go to heaven. Right. And that's, for me, not even righteous by man's standards, let alone if we try to compute the righteousness of the Most High. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to, so I went into Islam because Islam has that aspect correct. There is no deity worthy of worship but Allah. There's no God other than Him. He's not begotten, nor does He have any begotten. And so Islam was the faith that has kept me, has insulated me, and have kept me closer to my Elohim for all this time. So it wasn't until approximately 2 years ago. I've always had, even in the masjid, and if brothers who are the black men who are in the mosque, they can attest to this because I'm speaking from experience. Even in Islam, when you're in the mosque, standing next to these converts, because historically, with the Ottoman Empire taking over in Saudi Arabia and Egypt and the whole nine, you have a lot of people masquerading around like they are the true Arabs. And these people, when you are in the mosque standing next to them, you can clearly tell some of these people don't have no spirit of God whatsoever. And so if any brother who is observing this, I know that they'll know that we felt the same way. If you're standing in the mosque next to these people, when you're standing toe to toe and you have someone moving their toe away or just trying to, walk away, make no contact. This is a true phenomenon that occurs inside the masjid. And so Islam at its base is about brotherhood. It promotes that, but then you have these agents, if you want to call them, inside it, who would make that brotherhood, who would challenge that concept. And that was my experience for a while. And then it wasn't until approximately 2016 that I started just being, I would hear brothers talking about Israelites this, Israelites that, and I'm just thinking, because I saw the IPSUK brothers, I don't know their acronym for, And for me, it was like they're talking about this Israelite movement, but they're Christians. It's something that no matter how they want to slice it, you can say you're Israelite all you want to, but the only difference between you and Christianity is you change the name and you start using Hebrew names. And so for me, it was like, well, this sounds interesting, but that belief, Islam has that core, set of beliefs. Even Islam is a better spiritual path than that path because it's still Christianity. So, interestingly, in the Quran, there are several passages where the ineffable one, the Most High, says, O children of Israel, Surah 2 and 40, O children of Israel, remember the favor that I have favored you, and remember I have blessed you above all people. Right? Surah 2 and 47, O children of Israel, remember your blessings and how I favored you above all people. Go back to your Torah and fulfill your obligations to me. So, Surah 5 and 43 through 48, where it says, literally says, O Muhammad, why are they arguing with you, seeing that I have given them the Torah as their guidance and light? Verily, if I wanted you all to be the same, I would simply say be, but I created the differences amongst you so that you can vie with one another in charity, and in the end, I will set the record straight. So the Quran is replete in passage after passage after passage that the children of Israel's path is different than the path of the Ishmaelites and certainly Christianity. So to bring that home, Surah 43 and 48, it explicitly says that this Quran was revealed for Muhammad and his people. So even so the Ishmaelites, so even within that you have people masquerading and want to claim and attach themselves to Islam.
We are too.
And so this was the awakening that I had. It was an out-of-body experience that I had last year. That within Islam, I was told that that all of these people, we're all on one accord. They give this last speech that I have and that I understand in my heart now. That's definitely been doctored up. they say the last speech of Muhammad, where he says that none of you are greater than one or the other, and so on and so forth, and except in righteousness. But we know that if he had said that, then that would have been blasphemy. He'd never said that. The Most High has set his eye upon who he set his eye upon. He's chosen who he has chosen, and those are his words, not mine. And so this is what helped me understand that the path of the children of Israel. Then my sister, let me backtrack once, and my sister took a DNA test, and she, her DNA came back Israel, and then I said, you know what, well, let me go and take one because I have the Y, chromosome. Right. And so then I took my DNA, and my DNA results, according to the Jewish agency, my DNA goes back to Moses himself, the Kohanim markers that they say. I have my DNA I could share with you that go back to Moses himself. So at that point, it was a no-brainer. It was absolute. If this is what this path, the Ishmaelites' path is for them. The path that I have, that I'm on, I'm an Israelite. So it's not even a question. Yes, I do accept the Quran as a book from God, but it's a tertiary source to the Torah. In the Quran, it says over and over again, if you are indeed in doubt as to what it is that you believe, go back to the Torah. See, those sages go back to the Torah that will confirm what I have revealed unto you. So this is not an indictment of Islam. It's more or less the promoting of the reality. I ain't even got to promote it. The reality that the Torah is the only way for the children of Israel to worship their Elohim, their God.
You said that you came to knowledge of yourself or to knowledge of Islam in the year 2000, and this is just something that was swirling in my brain, and I know that in Minnesota there's a large Islamic community because of I believe it's like an Ethiopian, Somalian community out there, and I know that they're out there big time. How was it for you being a new convert during 9/11? Because if you converted in 2000, how was it for you in the mosque? Was there like a lot of tension with you brothers at that time? How was it?
For me, no. Actually, that's when they wanted to start trying to embrace brotherhood. It was like, we're brothers now. Because, when we, the Israelites here in America, we are peculiar people for real. Right. The moment we got to be able to say, or can embrace something that's anti-establishment, usually we do that and we wear it. We wear it in our hearts.
Right, we wear it proudly.
So now it's like, I'm a Muslim.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Whereas
they taking off their kufis and hiding their hijabs, I'm like, I'm embracing this wholeheartedly. And that was the sentiment behind that. So when they saw that energy, when they saw that fierceness that, that a non-docile Israelite would display, right. They wanted to gravitate, we're brothers behind closed doors, they love you at that point. And so that experience during, and actually the Somali community was not as bad as those converted Arabs.
Right,
because they have, the Somalis were pretty cool.
Because at the end of the day, they can't hide.
Yeah, they can't
how they look, so they have to go. They have to go with the side that looks like them.
Yeah, right. So, but my wife would probably have a different experience than. So she, in her experience, she says Somalis don't like black people at all. But you know what? And I hear black people from America at all. Right. And now that she says that, now that I remember that, one of my other brothers, Jerome, said the same thing. He had a similar experience. I just didn't have that experience. But I can definitely see that happen in language barrier, that superiority complex. And then them knowing that we're Christian, we have been converted to Christianity, feeling superior to us even on a spiritual level. But that's what that experience was in 2000, dealing with Christianity. And I know for a fact no matter how eloquent a speaker a Christian may be, the fundamental flaw in their belief is what will always separate them from the worst Israelite. And so and that's my position on that.
Yeah, that's very powerful. So I hear you're going to Israel?
Yes, I am. I'll be in Israel next week to learn the customs, the practices, to go firsthand. I have an appetite for this knowledge it'll take me a lifetime to quench, but I will be in Israel next week. I'm going to stay a couple weeks. I already purchased my tickets, and I'm going to go and learn the law and learn the customs and the practices of our ancestors there in the land.